doing? I think all of you are great by the grace of Almighty. Today I am going to discuss about a very important topic, and that belongs to the particular subject of accounting. And today's discussion about the compatibility and congeniality transaction. This compatibility transaction, you can easily identify and recognize by its nature. So dear learners and viewers, today's topic is capital and revenue transaction. At the very early stage, I would like to introduce these two transactions and its characteristics. Give a proper consultation on my lesson and look at the whiteboard very carefully and sincerely so that you can easily identify and recognize on which topic I am now writing today. Now I am writing the word transaction. This transaction has been classified into two categories. One is called capital transaction, another one is called revenue transaction. After writing this diagram or chart, I will make understand you about both transactions, okay? Now at first, first one, capital transaction. Another one, revenue transaction. Okay. This capital transaction is also two types. One is called income and the one is called expense. These revenue transactions are remain same. One is called income, another one is called expense. But I will also add another word beside the income, that is called receipts, in both sides. Capital transaction. So what is capital transaction? The transaction that is long term, not occur more and more times in a year, irregular and large amount of money. All these transactions belong to capital transaction, and it is also two types. One is called income and the one is called expense. For an example, purchase land $35,000. To purchase a piece of land for the organization is a big deal, and the organization cannot purchase this property more and more times in a year, and it will provide long-term benefit. That's why it is called capital transaction. On the other hand, revenue transaction is absolutely opposite of that one. So what is revenue transaction? The transaction that is short-term, occur more and more times in a year, regular and small amount of money. All these transactions belong to revenue transaction, and these revenue transactions also remain same, income and expense. For an example, salary paid to the office employee $1,200. It's one kind of revenue transaction, and you can ask me how. Look, the owner has to pay several times. The owner has to pay salary to the office employees maximum or minimum 12 times in a year. That's why it's regular activities. It's short term and occur more and more times in a year, and that's why we have already said this one kind of revenue transaction. After completing this session, we'll show up definitely some example of capital and revenue transaction as well as their characteristics. So dear viewers, what we have already learned from our lesson has already got some basic characteristics of capital and revenue transactions. Now I am writing here, just watch and learn. First one, long term. Next one, irregular. And next one, large amount. And revenue transactions is absolutely opposite this capital transaction. Long term here will be short term. Next, irregular here will be regular. and large amount here is small amount. Okay. According to my viewpoint, after going through 2 or 3 times all of these basic characteristics, you can also identify and recognize on capital and revenue transactions still at this moment, while it will be in your upcoming exam or anywhere. Now there will have some transaction and it will also be on the screen. You will have to take a good preparation on that with me, and I think all of you have already completed the CT and RT, the basic characteristics of that. Now keep watching and get back started to our lesson today. Now dear viewers, here is several transactions on the whiteboard behind me, and there is also a box here. You'll have to sort out the capital and revenue transactions from these and have to write in this box. But another word, you can easily write also which one is capital and revenue, not only transaction but also income and expense as well. Now let's try. Now the first one, interest on loan paid $100. It's one kind of revenue transaction and we have to write here. But you can ask me how. Again, interest on loan paid is one kind of revenue transaction as well as revenue expenditure. Suppose you have already taken some loan from bank and you have to repay the loan as well as interest with a monthly basis or installment. To pay the interest on loan is one kind of regular activities and you have to pay several times in a year. That's why it's regular, short term and occur more and more times. And we have said it before or a few minutes back that if you find the similarities between these 3 characteristics with this transaction, then it goes to capital transaction or revenue transaction. Now I'm writing here revenue transaction or revenue expense. Revenue expense. Now the second one. Machinery purchased $3,000 is one sort of capital transaction as well as capital expenditure, because it's one kind of irregular activities and will provide us long-term benefit in future. And we have already found the total similarities between these 3 characteristics of capital transaction. Number 1, irregular, long-term and large amount of money. That's why it goes to capital transaction as well as capital expenditure. I'm writing here capital expenditure or capital expense. Okay. Next one, goods sold on credit $800. There is a word universally and it is absolutely true that each and every organization has several and regular activities, and that is called purchase and sales. Now, goods sold on credit, here it does in fact that how the transaction has happened here, cash or credit. In spite of this, I am not telling you some extra information, though we are doing the capital and revenue transaction. But transaction has been classified into 5 categories in economical factor, though we know only 2, cash and credit. But no, cash transaction, credit transaction, bill transaction, check transaction and card transaction. Now, goods sold on credit is regular term and one kind of income, because we find the similarities among these 3 characteristics of revenue transaction. Number 1, regular. Number 2, short term and small amount of money. That's why it goes to revenue transaction as well as revenue income. Now writing here revenue income. Next one, electricity bill paid $50. We know electricity bill one kind of revenue transaction because it's regular, small amount of money and occur more and more times in a year, and electricity bill has to pay in monthly basis. That's why it goes to revenue transaction as well as revenue expenditure. And the last of all, sold old furniture $200. It has to be remembered that selling furniture isn't a regular activities of any organization, because asset means the financial resources that belongs to a business and that is invested for making profit. Here, sold old furniture is one kind of capital transaction as well as capital income, because We have already found these three characteristics of capital transaction. Number one, irregular, long term, and huge amount of money. That's why it goes to capital transaction as well as capital income. Okay, I'm writing here capital income. On the view of my point, all of you have already got a great advantages and a good benefit from my lesson today, what I have already discussed. In this way, all of you can easily know a numerous amount of capital and revenue transactions at your home. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share and comment. Definitely subscribe this channel to get a new update and more videos from my channel named Channel of Teaching Home. Thank you so much. Stay home and save lives.